Patrick Henry's Red Hill. Helping to answer that question, who is Patrick Henry? Well, Patrick Henry was a May birthday boy. That's right. Patrick Henry was born on May 29th of 1736 at Studley Plantation. Now, Studley is located in eastern Hanover County. It's about 10 miles outside of present-day Richmond. Um, Patrick's parents were John Henry and Sarah Dabney Winston. Now, Sarah was previously married to the previous owner and operator of Studley Plantation, John Sim. And John Sim and Sarah had a child, John Sim Jr. John died in 1731, and it was about 3 years later, in 1734, that Sarah married John Henry. Now, John Henry also worked at Studley Plantation, possibly as an overseer. We don't exactly know what he did at Studley. But we know that they were married, and together they had 9 children. Their oldest child was William Henry, and William was followed by Patrick, and Patrick was followed by 7 younger sisters. There was Jane and Sarah and Lucy and Susanna and Anne and Mary and Elizabeth. So all told, 9 children in the Henry family. The home at Studley is gone. It burned down long after the Henrys left Studley. The home itself was about a 30-foot by 40-foot structure. It was made of brick and wood. We know this from insurance records. And as I said, the house is gone. All the outbuildings are gone, but the field is still there. And it's mostly undeveloped. There is some development around the area, but visitors can still go to Studley and see the place, the land where Patrick Henry was born on May 29th of 1736. There is a historical marker on the site, and there's actually a little grove of shrubbery in the midst of the the field, and it's believed that that's where the house originally stood, where Patrick Henry was born. We don't know exactly when he and the family left Studley, but they moved to Mount Brilliant sometime during Patrick Henry's childhood. Some people think it was early on in Patrick's youth, when he was even an infant. Other people believe it was more when he was a young teenager. And that seems to be the more logical explanation, as his older half-brother, John Sim, would become of age and inherit the property of Studley. And that would make sense that that was when the Henrys would leave. But nonetheless, that is where Patrick Henry was born. Now, he was born, as I said, on May 29th, and another significant event that occurred on his birthday was his 29th birthday, and that was in 1765. May 29th of 1765, Patrick Henry delivered what was known as the Stamp Act speech, and that was the successful argument for his resolutions, which would basically cause Virginia to resist the Stamp Act, or the stamp tax, that was being put upon the colonists by Parliament. And later, Thomas Jefferson would look back at that specific event on that specific day and say that that was what set in motion the ball of the American Revolution. And there's the famous painting by Peter Rothermel, the original of which is at Red Hill, Patrick Henry's last home and burial place, and visitors can go and see that original painting. It's a very well-known and a very famous painting. It's a romanticized version of what occurred on May 29th of 1765. Other significant events occurred on or around his birthday, such as his election as governor several times. He was elected 5 times as the governor, actually elected 6 times as the governor of the state of Virginia, but he declined his last term. But his elections were on or around his birthday at the end of May. And then the final significant event that occurred just 8 days after his 63rd birthday was his death. Patrick Henry passed from this life at his home at Red Hill, and he passed away on June 6th of 1799. So as we can see, a lot of significant things occurred on or around Patrick Henry's birthday throughout his life. And these are some events that kind of identify who he was when it comes to his place in American history. This is Patrick for Patrick Henry's Red Hill, helping to answer that question: who is Patrick Henry?